Hi, my name is Jennifer Crescenzo, and I'm 43 years old. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and you'll find me on Instagram as Jen Crescenzo. Um, I'm so thrilled to be asked to speak um, in this context because it's been incredible for me to look at all of the stories, all the women who are sharing their stories here. Um, and it reminds me of the work I started out doing when I left university at 22. I went right to work for a very small production company. I studied film and went to work straight away as a as an assistant, as a production assistant at a woman-owned documentary production company. And the philosophy behind that company was to tell the stories of people whose voices weren't being heard. So myself and a small team of women did a lot of work to bring what we thought were really important social and cultural issues to the attention of people who made laws and could change laws, people who could take action. Um, and in that context, I got to work with so many just incredibly brave, committed women. Women who'd been victims of domestic violence and had to escape and build a new life for their children, women who'd been victims of sexual assault, women who'd struggled with breast cancer and serious illness, and were using their voices to demand change to laws, change in the way that they had access to health care. And they were doing it because they knew they couldn't change what had happened to them, but that their story could make a difference for other women. And being in that environment for so long showed me, very, very clearly that the power, the power of an individual voice when even a community such as the one I was in, a small team of women trying to make these films and get these stories told, when a small number of people use their voice and take action, you really can have a ripple effect. And I took that idea into studying yoga and teaching yoga. And I realized that, in some ways, even though I had been spending all my time focused on the stories of these other women, my own story needed to be examined. My own ideas about myself and what I was capable of, and just even who I was on a fundamental level. What were the things that were most important to me? And I think as women, sometimes we can think it's selfish, to take the time to ask these questions about who am I and what do I want. But the only way, I think it's a matter of health. I mean, I think that it really is our physical and mental and emotional health that's at stake when we ask those questions. Because if you're living a life disconnected from how you feel and how your body processes your experiences, then you are not living in health. And if you aren't living in health, it's impossible for you to contribute to your greatest capacity. So I actually think, paradoxically, it is your responsibility to look after your health. Because when you are healthy, you then get to take the energy, the vitality, the purpose that you have and use it. Use it to help other people. Use it to contribute to the best possible communities and to solving the really difficult problems that no matter where you're living in the world, we're all facing. And to some degree, we're facing them together, even though our solutions in different places might be different. And so my goal as a yoga teacher is really to make my students better critical thinkers. I want them to ask questions, and I want them to learn to take care of themselves so that they are not dependent on other people to tell them who they are and how they feel, or what they should feel, or what they should think. And so whatever you use, whatever practices you use, yoga, meditation, tai chi, walking in the park, it doesn't really matter to me so much what the form is. but being connected to your own embodied experience, your own feelings, the thoughts that play on an endless loop in your head, the strong emotions that arise when you're faced with difficult challenges and questions, that rather than pushing that stuff away or going to someone else to tell you what does it mean or how should I feel, that you actually make time in your daily rituals to just feel the feelings of being you and how you're responding to things and what patterns you might notice. And in examining that and looking at that, I think you start to really get a sense from within, from under your own skin, of what you're choosing and what you're not choosing, what you're avoiding and why. And when you start to ask those questions, you are starting to choose a different way of living. And I think it's really important that as women, as humans, that we that we start to make that choice.